Hey everybody, welcome to Retsutalk, episode 84. Pal Slow Beef. With me is not Diabetes, but our good friend Ty Tuesday.
Diabetes Jr., that's right, motherfuckers. No, hey, it's Ty.
That's right.
How's it going?
The new and improved Diabetes.
Too. Sorry, we're taking it over now. No.
What do you call it? No, yeah, we were gonna do this on Saturday night, and then Beta's like, yeah, I'm kind of tired, and I don't have much to talk about. I'm like, we said we'd do this, but all right, fine, whatever. So I got sick of this because that happened like 3 weeks in a row. So I'm like, I'm going to the better bench, more or less.
Yeah. So it's been a while since we've got to just like, talk. So you just want to bullshit about video games we've played recently? Because that sounds like I could do that for at least an hour. Yeah, cool.
I think so.
Have you played anything you've been really excited about and waiting to espouse the virtues of lately? Not leading anywhere with that.
I mean, a couple of things, but if you have anything, I'm willing to hear.
All right, fine. I'll do a plug before you start rambling about Neo for 30 minutes.
Okay.
So, Saturday, normal time, so I'll be starting probably about 4 p.m., maybe a little bit earlier. I'm going to be playing through a couple games, and more importantly, I'm going to be, for every so many follows, I'll be taking a huge bite or like eating a huge piece of ghost pepper jerky, and then for every so many subs, eating a large piece of scorpion pepper jerky. So I'm going to be dying live because Hot Pepper Gaming just ended, and I decided I would sell out and at least die in the process. I mean, if you're going to sell out, do it in a way that at least everyone knows it's painful for you too, right?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be streaming Friday night, and I'm with my own ghost pepper jerky. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, this guy. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to do that
This
anyway.
guy.
You'd explode.
No, yeah, exactly. But I'll watch because that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm real stupid.
So how is this gonna work? Like every hour on the hour, you eat some hot thing, and then
it'll just be like I'll have a tracker, and after I get like 50 follows or something, I'll be like, "Well, time to die." And then
I got you.
And then like every like 25 subs or something, I'll be like, "Well, welcome to hell, me." Just do that.
I'm all right. I want to rip that idea off somehow.
Yeah, I'm dumb, but I'm good at promotion. It's stupid, strong promotion. That's what I'm here for.
Are you done plugging now? Can I change topics very briefly?
But yeah, go talk to Neo.
No, of course.
Neo.
No. I don't want to talk about Neo. No. You reminded me of something else too, because I want to like figure out some idea, because I way back, like actually over a year ago now, I was doing these ROM hacking streams where I was trying to translate Dead of the Brain to English and trying to figure out how do I make that into an entertaining stream and like work in all that fun stream crap with something that's like kind of coding, kind of video games, kind of something else, So obviously Eat Hot Peppers is the way to do it, but no, I don't know. Like, it's funny because now you just as you're saying that, now you kind of like sort of gotten my little creative juices flowing, and I'm like, maybe I can add something here or there, whatever. But I'd say that's my own plug, except I keep saying I'm going to go back to it, but it's really finally solidifying.
I mean, people like programming strings, but if you keep at it, like people will start turning up more and more for that kind of thing, I'm sure. I'd watch.
Yeah, it's like one of those things, I guess it's like people who get high off the weed and stuff are okay with, but off the weed. Okay, now I want to
That's
me.
I love
Neo.
Smoking weed and watching programming though. Time for a sexy-ass Tuesday evening.
One person told me that. They're like, I don't understand what you're doing, but I like to get high and pretend I do. I'm like, all right, it's good enough. Whatever. I'll talk about binary for 10 minutes, and then we'll fucking open a hex editor and see what the fuck we can do. No, yeah, I don't like leaving the project kind of half-finished either. It's like, Oren Ronan from the Danganronpa Let's Play. Yeah. He was like, he got kind of into it, and he was like translating the game, and he had his own translation stream and shit like that, and it's like, you owe me, motherfucker, so yeah. I actually, Lotax owes him pretty big, because I think he got like $1 million off that terrible Let's Play that I had to moderate for fucking free. But whatever, that's a past life. It's a past life I'm not fucking worried about. All right, look, Neo, not bad. Not a bad video game.
That is good to hear, because I gotta be honest, like, I remember seeing the first demo and
the alpha.
Hearing you frantically through the alpha be like, no, dude, it's good. And I'm watching it. I'm like, dude, this sucks. And then like the latest demo, the last chance demo or whatever they called it, I was watching and I was like, this seems like a video game. This seems all right. This
I think
pretty dope.
They borrow a lot. I mean, a lot from Souls. And the only thing I would say in its defense even in the alpha demo was combat felt kind of like good, like its own kind of deal, but it didn't look like it, so I kind of get it. It's just like you can especially see in the last demo because they have weapons like the dual swords and the Kusarigama, which don't act anything like a Souls game weapon. So like the Kusarigama is one of those sickle chain deals.
Yeah.
So it's like half Morningstar, half sickle, and like you do these like really tight things like windmill it around you and just hit guys like 20 in a row, and like really cool shit. I guess for people who maybe have not heard of this game too, this is basically Team Ninja's take on a Souls game. So combat's based around duels, you have like stamina, and there's a really cool gimmick in it called Ki Pulsing, which your stamina is called Ki, because again, it's a ripoff of Souls, and so they just like change the name of things, like, that's not a bonfire, it's a shrine, or that's not Souls, it's Amrita, and
a lot of the things I've seen it, and I'm like, that's really derivative, which isn't always bad, like, that's okay, but I did see like, oh god, what was it? There was like a red spot on the ground with a sword in it where that was where people died, and I'm like, guys.
So that they add their own twist too, because that's a Revenant thing where you can fight an AI version of a person who died there, and it's usually pretty hard, and if you win, you can take the person, like a piece of the person's armor that they had. Not permanently take it, but like you can get stuff that way. So it's like, they do enough, I feel like, where it's like you're on kind of familiar territory, like, oh, I can open a shortcut back to the shrine, or like, oh, there's like a key, now I can get to the next place. And then they do enough different where it's like, if you're good at like a Souls game or Bloodborne, you will not be good at Neo. Like, the combat is really where they took it its own deal. It's like fast-paced and technical, and you're doing a lot of really quick risk-reward things. So like, the way stamina regen works is like, when you use up stamina, you get a little meter that fills up fast, and then that blinks away, and then it slowly refills like normal. But during the fast meter, if you hit R1 fast enough, you'll just grab that stamina back immediately. But it interrupts your combo a tiny bit, so you kind of have to say, like, all right, do I want to end the combo, roll out, try to regain stamina? Do I want to pulse, maybe even, like, roll the dice a tiny bit and keep attacking? It's really cool stuff.
How greedy are you willing to get? Is basically what it comes to. Yeah, so like especially on big bosses, because one thing I did notice right away is like there's a lot of enemies who will take you down in 2 swings.
Well, that was the alpha demo. They calmed down on that.
Did they calm down on that? Okay, thank God.
Yes, yeah.
Because that was one thing that I was like, I don't know about this one, beef. Was just watching people get downed instantly, repeatedly.
So part of the reason too is like, because usually in a Souls game you'll back off, but the way the alpha demo worked is your character, instead of like locking onto a guy and backing away slowly, he would actually like turn around and run in the other direction. And getting hit in the back is double damage, which means if you're fighting like that, you die in like 2 hits. And the game is trying to teach you like, no, you're kind of committed to fighting now. Like, so you got to figure out better shit, but you still died in 2 hits to like the first enemy. So it's really annoying looking. But yeah, Final Chance demo in the final game absolutely calmed down on that. Now it's like, okay, now you can take a few. And it still like feels a little Soulsy insofar as like the first enemies of the game, they're kind of manageable, and oh, that guy looks harder, and yep, he is, so I'm gonna have to maybe get some better armor or get some better weapons or what have you, It's very, it also borrows from Diablo. There's no more weapon durability, which is another annoying thing in the first demo.
Yeah,
they got rid of that. Yeah, so you just get tons and tons of weapons and armor drops, and they all have little random variations to them. So you can like play around. You'll get like, oh, here's like a dual sword, but it has like +3 against demons, so I'll equip that. And I don't know, aesthetically, I like it a lot. Like it's all like Japanese mythology.
That was actually why I was excited for the game when it first was announced. I like kind of saw it and was like, oh shit, someone's finally making a new Onimusha. Oh shit. And I was like really hyped for that. I was like, finally, God, I've been waiting for a new Onimusha since the one with the French actor that was really cool. Like, it was just really, I went back and played some of those games. They haven't held up super great because they still were using a lot of like fixed perspective camera. Some of the combat's a little goofy. Like, it's not great, but the aesthetic is still super dope. And I was like, saw that and I was like, yes, finally here. And then, yeah, first demo, I was like, never mind, but apparently now they've cleaned up a lot of the major complaints that I had just from watching, so that's good.
It's funny. It seems like each demo they actually did listen to feedback, so they they made it, I won't say easier, but they made it less bullshitty, and easier to onboard. Yeah, and they have if you really want that super challenging Team Ninja kind of experience, they have a thing called a Twilight mission where you can go back to something you've already cleared, and it's like a super hard version of the level. It's in there like little challenge stuff that's all optional. It's a lot of fun, and they do like kind of cool things like, you get like poses like in Dark Souls, but they're sort of funny things. So like there's like a wall mimic kind of deal. And if you hit it, like this big golem thing comes out, but if you bow to it, it bows back to you and just lets you through. It is like cute little shit like that. So I don't know. I'm playing it with Beatus and this guy Mighty Dicktron, who like knows everything about like Japanese mythology and yokai and all that fun stuff. So we're having a pretty good time with it. I kind of breezed through the first level because it was like kind of the same as
that was the demo, right? Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, there's like 4, and all the demos, there have been 4 levels total, so I'm kind of interested to see some of the new shit. But it's getting like rave reviews everywhere. If you have a PS4, I definitely recommend. It does a cool thing for a console too, where you can pick you can tell it, try to give me a better resolution or try to give me a better frame rate.
Better frame rate? Yeah, I've heard they're starting to do that now.
Yeah, this is like, the demo used to be, you can play it at 720p, 60 frames a second, or 1080, 30, but this one will actually there's even variable if you want, where it's just like try to do your best and scale back what you need to. Like there's 2 sets of textures and everything like that. But like if you have a PS Pro, it'll try to do like 4K 60, but apparently, it's really more like 1080p 60 on a PS Pro.
Yeah.
That said, I mean, I really like the game. I'm kind of excited to play more of it.
Nice.
Yeah. See it on my little YouTube channel there.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? Yeah.
Your discussion of just like technical combat and reflections just like sparked a memory of a game I played like a couple hours ago. Actually, it just came out today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Bleed 2. Have you
what?
played Bleed at all? Have you?
No, I did play Bleed, and I liked it a lot, and I saw you tweet about it, and I'm like, there's a Bleed 2, and I couldn't watch it because I was in school, but
yeah, it just came out today. I mean, it's short, like the first Bleed. It's like, I think $9 right now, but it kicks ass, just like the first Bleed. For those who don't know, Bleed is a game where it's like a 2D thing. It's twin sticks. Right stick just aims and constantly shoots. You have like a triple dash that you can aim in any direction, and you can slow down time pretty damn liberally. Like it's on a gauge that refills really fast. Like it's kind of a variable difficulty thing in which like you can slow down time as much as you need to, but it's really fun to just play without doing that. This one, the big mechanic they added in that's like really prevalent is bullet parrying is like super huge now. It turns out
you're speaking my language.
Yeah, like any shot so like the first time you like hit the right stick in a direction, like so like to shoot basically, the first time you point that way, she slashes her sword, and it reflects bullets back that are pink. And there's like some things where an enemy will like charge at you, and if you just at the last second hit them with the sword, it just knocks them back, and they take a shitload of damage. It's real good. It's real good to play. And there's like 4 difficulties, and apparently very hard is just ridiculously difficult. Bunch of characters and stuff. It was really fun. If you haven't played Bleed or Bleed 2, I recommend just like looking them up. Bleed is regularly, the first one's regularly on sale for like $2 or something. But holy shit, they are fun games. Oh man, and Bleed 2 is great.
Can I watch the VOD on twitch.tv/TieTuesday?
Yeah, you can, or
maybe I'll do that.
You can or you can. I don't give a shit. Go nuts, whatever. But on to the game that I really wanted to talk about today. So Sonic 2006. So I played through that recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, we still have to work out of time, I guess. But
I didn't tell people this. Yeah. So we very foolishly at one point, maybe drinks were involved, agreed to play hard mode of have a race of Sonic 06 hard mode.
Very hard. Yeah, the very hard mode downloadable DLC, the one that you have to pay.
It costs money,
real American dollars for. Yeah. See, the interesting thing though is I played Sonic 06, right? Like I did that right after MagFest. Yeah. And afterwards it was like a day or two, and my brain was kind of like, it'd be interesting to like see how the speed run works and stuff, and like maybe break the game a little bit. So I now am like 90% of the way through learning the Sonic story speed run, and I can almost get the game done in like an hour and 10 minutes. So I've been learning the speed run for that game. Yeah, it's actually a lot of fun. It turns out Sonic 06, when you speed run it, becomes a totally different beast. It's crazy.
I kind of saw you like trying to break it, so I kind of figured like maybe you'd found some kind of fun shit to do with it and all that. But.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's so much to it. Like, the thing is, there's so many like unintentional bugs that if you like wrangle them, become these huge things. Like one of them at the beginning is right at like Wave Ocean, when that first loop, the one everyone flies off of. Okay, so you have to fly off of it, right? But the thing is, you intentionally fly off to the side, like smash a pillar, jump back onto it, and then you have to like break free of the game's magnetism as it like violently tries to rip you back onto it. Stand in a very specific spot on it, and then you pause and press jump on the same frame, and the game like fucks up and puts like a jump before the frame of you pausing and the frame after you pausing. And for some reason that like makes you hop up, clip partially into the geometry, and then immediately homing attack, and it like makes the game flip out and just launches you across the entire stage, and you skip like half the level. It's amazing. Wow. it's real good. So it's a lot of shenanigans like that, a lot of really optimized movement, and a lot of just super weird things like a lot of stuff that's really annoying when you play the game normally. Like it's like, oh man, you hit this dash pad and it just sometimes throws you off. You then learn, you're like, oh yeah, I have to make sure to always hit that one from the right side, or else I might hit that rail and that'll drag me off. And it's just like really strange. Or like the snowboard sections in like Crisis City. Yeah, there's a couple like little glitches you can do where you snap off of a ramp and then back down onto it, and it makes the game freak out, and you go 5 times faster than you're supposed to, which makes it really hard to control, but it's really satisfying going clearly too fast, like where the boulder is chasing you, or the snow boulder or whatever in the snow valley.
Yeah.
You go so fast that it's just never on camera. You're going so fucking fast. It's insane.
It's so weird because, like, I really had a lot of misery. Like, I really do like shitty games and playing them for whatever, like, perverse reason, Mm-hmm. Like, it's just, like, video game masochism. But I do really genuinely like seeing that stuff. But, like, Sonic 06, I was kind of miserable toward the end. But you really kind of took a shine to it, apparently. Like, just breaking it and having fun with it. Yeah,
for some reason, it was a beautiful artistic piece of garbage. And I just really enjoy looking at it. I hang it in my home. No, for some reason, like Sonic Boom made me miserable. Like I actively was like, I want to die while I was playing Sonic Boom towards the end. Sonic 06, I was just laughing hysterically through the whole thing. Like the only part that maybe got to me a little bit was End of the World. End of the World sucks so bad that you have to like develop speedrunning techniques to get through some of that bullshit. Yeah, where you have to do every single character in a row, the all-story finale. Yeah, no, that part sucked.
That was, that did suck. That sucked a lot.
Why are there black holes? Who okayed that?
Oh, I forgot all about that.
So bad.
Oh, God, it is. I forgot. Why did you remind Jesus Christ?
God.
The black holes are terrible.
They were unbelievably terrible.
It's funny because I remember hating Silver's stuff a lot, but because like you had to do physics shit, and it was just like, good luck if it works or not, buddy. You know?
Took half an hour to do the billiards room. The final
Oh,
one.
that was so bad.
It took me, it was, roughly half an hour. Guess what? I can just clip through the door now. Fuck that room. It's way better this way to just be like, nah, to that room. I recently got a frame perfect Silver fight. Sonic beating Silver. I can do it frame perfectly now, repeatedly. It owns.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's real satisfying after dying to that fight like 7 times in a row.
I can imagine, honestly. Damn. Fuck, I forgot about the Silver fight. The Silver fights plural too, which is unbelievable to me that they made you do that twice as Sonic and Shadow. That's all right. I gotta start watching some of your shit because I remember when you did Sonic 06 for the first time too. I figured, well, he's gonna be there a couple weeks. You finished it in like 2 really days.
Yeah, it was
pretty
like
much.
I think it was like 15 or 16 hours. Something like that.
Jesus Christ,
apparently I was just a savant at Shadow because I beat Shadow section in like 3.5 hours, and everyone was like, what? I was like, yeah, is that good? And everyone was like,
Yeah.
I was like, I just want to ride my motorcycle. I did a bunch of fucking side quests as Shadow too. Like as soon as there was one, I was like, oh, this one. Oh, he says he wants me to get my driver's license. Well, I can't break the law. I'm working for the president. So I just got on my motorcycle, just got my license and rode around as Shadow the Hedgehog. And yeah, I did a bunch of side quests, beat it in like 3.5 hours. And everyone was just like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, what is the, huh? And then it took like 7 hours to do Sonic and to do Silver. Yeah. So Silver is a special beast.
That's pretty bad, Silver, yeah. There's all tricks to it where I think if you tap his hover, it goes way farther than it should.
Oh yeah, I use that all the time. Yeah,
I remember using that.
The robot also has a pretty.
That's right.
Hover. Yeah,
I forgot all about the fucking robot.
That's one of the other best things of the skips is basically anything involving Tails. I now can break open entirely.
No kidding.
Yeah, so here's the weird thing. You'll probably understand this pretty easily as a programmer, better than I do. So Tails, basically, the way his flight works is you hold A, and he starts accelerating up, right? Like he just starts flying up. But the thing is, you hold A, and at some point, he accelerates, and he just hits a height gain cap or something. Like they just coded in, his Z-axis can only increase this much. So you'll see him, start to accelerate and then just hard stop. It looks like he hits a ceiling almost, like an invisible ceiling. And then you hover for a second and you fall down and you fall like a stone as soon as he gets tired. So what it is you start holding A and accelerating up and just a split second before he normally would hit that invisible ceiling, you let go and that just never triggers. So you just keep flying up way higher, twice as high as you're supposed to. And then you hold A at the peak of that or, just at some point, and you float, and then you hold your flight, and normally you would just keep holding, and when he gets tired, he just falls straight fucking down. Turns out if you release the A button right when he gets tired, the script to pull him straight down also never happens, so you can just keep floating way farther forward. So you can go really far. I'm talking, from Wave Ocean, I jump off a pier to a rock, and then jump off that rock into the loading zone for the Mach Speed section. I'm Tails for all of 15 seconds. It's ridiculous. And I just skip 3 areas. It's crazy. There's so much broken shit. And so much of it involves don't touch anything. If you light speed dash without touching anything, you go way faster than you're supposed to. Most of the time.
I remember Proton John telling me that. Yeah, a light dash is just way too fast for the camera or the game or anything.
Yeah, and if you're not touching anything on the joystick, again, it doesn't the game never triggers the scripts that say, Sonic can only go this fast. So you just rocket forward and keep going, and it never tells you to slow down. So you just keep going way faster than you're supposed to. There's all sorts of weird stuff like that, and it makes the game really fun. Also, Knuckles clips through everything, which is amazing. Knuckles cannot stay inside of a room for his life.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of not that we're really having some sort of competition or anything, but this isn't going to be much of the kind of race where it's not going to be a competition or anything. Well, you're going to pretty much kill me.
The good thing is very hard, does mix up a lot of stuff. I just played regular hard to see, and it just throws a bunch of spike balls in random places and shit. It's the laziest Kaizo hack I've ever seen. It's amazing. Like, they just put random shit all over the place. From what I understand, very hard. They, like, actually... Some people are saying that you have to, like, run some levels backwards and stuff, so a lot of the stuff I'm doing just isn't going to be valid. But I am going to be really good at the game.
Okay, that's fair.
You
know what? Hey.
You win some, you lose some. You sometimes good at Sonic 06. Oops.
Well, I mean, again, it's like, it's not like if I lose it, I'm going to be like, oh, I hate you, or some shit, you know? I mean, it's like a fun
Well,
thing,
it started as a goof was the thing, right? Like, I was like, hey, I'm going to practice 06. I'm going to fucking kill Slow Beef. And then I was just like, shit, I enjoy this. God damn it. I'm actually having fun. This sucks.
Well, it's funny because I still have that Wii U copy of Sonic Boom staring at me. Who knows? Maybe I'll find some way to enjoy that.
Good luck.
But yeah, maybe not.
Give it to someone else afterwards. That's my recommendation.
Can we talk about Kaz's? Was it Kaz who gave you the copy of Final Fantasy 13?
No, that was Kuvo. But yes, we can talk about Kuvo sending a video game vampire into my home. Yes.
I love that so much.
Okay.
But You
want me to tell the story of this?
Can you please tell this? Yes.
I will.
Because the people at home need to know.
I'm not trying to dominate the conversation, but this is fucking great.
That's fine. No, please.
Okay, so I was doing a stream of just a bunch of garbage, as I do regularly, and I told Kuvo, who's a buddy of mine, about this, and he's like, okay, cool, what's your address? I'm going to send you a bunch of garbage. And then he also said, what's your favorite kind of liquor? And I told him, and he's like, okay, cool, I'll send you something there too. So, like, not even a full week later, I get this huge fucking box from Kubo, and inside of it is just this amazing whiskey, which, like, thank you, Kubo, you're a dear. And then all these bad games, like fucking Burger King's Big Bumpin', like Rio Olympics something or other, fucking Jean Wu Presents Stranglehold, like just a bunch of trash. And then at the very bottom, Final Fantasy 13. And I'm like, shit. He sent me alcohol with it, so I legally have to play it. It's like letting a vampire into your home. That's how that works.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, of course.
So I played through Final Fantasy 13, which is a joy. It's a good time. And I'm burning through it. Towards the end of the second disc, I realized, like, I really do need to grind at this point. I'm like, fuck, this game's getting ridiculous, because I was, like, running past a lot of encounters. So, and there's just an impossible boss at the end of the second disc. So I spend, like... It was like 5 or 6 hours just grinding Final Fantasy 13 while I watch fucking Alton Brown's Good Eats. Start up the stream, and we get to the boss, and everyone's like, holy shit, you've maxed out everything, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I spent a bunch of time on it. It was really stupid. We get to this fight. I just trounce this boss, which is apparently like what everyone expected, or didn't expect. They expected me to get my ass kicked. And so I go to switch to disc 3, because that was the very end of disc 2. I watched the cutscene. Put it in, and the game locks up. So I'm like, fuck. Well, it let me save, whatever, no big deal. So I take it out, put disc 3 back in my 360, still locked up. I'm like, fuck. Pull it out, go like wash it off, do all the stuff I can to like try and buff it off and everything. Still nothing. Doesn't work. Absolutely won't work. So I contact Kuvo, and because someone else was like, oh yeah, Kuvo had this exact same thing happen when he streamed the game like 2 years ago. And I'm like, you are fucking kidding me. So I contact him, and the first response he gives me is I was like, Kubo, did you send me a disc 3 that doesn't work? And he's like, oh yeah, I sent you the last one. It's the last Final Fantasy. It's the final one. And I was like, you son of a bitch. So it turns out when Kuvo streamed the game about 2.5 years ago, he got all the way to disc 2 to the end, and then beat his head against the wall against that boss for like 6 hours, just like grinding, losing repeatedly, etc., etc. Then finally beats it, and disc 3 doesn't work, and it freezes. He had apparently completely forgotten, but he fucking sent me Final Fantasy 13 with a disc that didn't work. So I just burned like hours. I decided to not finish Final Fantasy 13. I just watched a YouTube video and was like, fuck him. I don't care. I hate this game. This game sucks shit. So yeah.
That's so amazing.
So
though.
I got brutally
you have to respect.
Yeah.
You have
I'm
to
not even
respect
mad.
that.
Like, I mean, I was mad at the time, but like now looking back, I'm like, that's incredible. That's like a 2.5 year long joke. And
I know.
Goddamn.
It was in a box of them too.
Yeah.
That's like, Kubo, yeah. Mwah.
And the
If
thing
you're
is,
out
like,
there.
it seemed like that was the game that was like the I'm sorry game in the pile, right? Like, because I like heard it was like pretty bad, but I didn't think it was like that bad. I mean, it's like in there with like Conan the Barbarian and shit. Like, I'm like, you know, whatever. Final Fantasy 13, that'll be fine. But oh my god, yeah, I got torn asunder by that. That sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's good though. It's good. If it's gonna happen, you want it to happen like that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least then I can have played the final one. It's the last one. No more fantasies.
Oh, great. I want to talk to you about a game.
Is it Resident Evil 7?
It's not.
Okay.
It's a game I forgot about, but I want to talk about. But it's the same vein. Have you heard anything about this detention game?
I have heard you hooting and hollering, all like you're screaming about Anubis about this detention game. Is it super good?
I fucking love detention. I'm in the honeymoon phase of it, which when that happens to me, I'm like, for months, I'm like, this is the best game I ever played. Oh my god! So take that with a grain of salt, and like in a couple of months, I'll be like, all right, I'd still say it's very good. Even, I'm like, as far as horror games go, I would put it like maybe under Silent Hill 2. Like I was just like blown away by how good it was.
Wow.
It's a Taiwanese game. It's a 2D point and click. None of the puzzles are particularly like, you know, you're not going to be like, you might like say in a chat, like if you stream it, like I did, like, hey chat, like, what do you think I should do here? And somebody will be like, oh, this. And you're like, oh, okay. But it's nothing like where you're like, oh, that's a stupid puzzle or anything like that, you know? There's no combat, but there is sort of, I can't really call it actiony, but there's like gameplay to like sort of avoid things. It's not deep at all, and it's not too obnoxious. It's like one of those things you have to kind of temper. Like, don't expect like a ton of gameplay, but it's not like you play like a Silent Hill or Amnesia or a game like that for awesome combat and cool combos and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like a 3-4 hour game. It does what it does extremely well. I like the whole time I'm like, oh my god. I don't even want to say too much about it, but it's very Silent Hill inspired. It's yeah, it's just so good. It's like you're this like boy and girl, and you're in a school, and there's like a typhoon coming, and you try to run home, and then all of a sudden the bridge you're supposed to cross is out, and the water is blood instead of water, and then you decide to run back into school, and then shit just goes downhill from there, and it's great. There's not, yeah, I don't want to. It's like I'm like torn because I don't want to say too much, but I want to like sell you on it.
You're trying to build a strong elevator pitch without spoiling anything.
Exactly. It's $12 on Steam. Do you trust me? It's good. It's a good 3-4 hours.
I $12 trust you at least.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
I think
everybody.
Our friendship is roughly $12 worth of trust at this point.
Yeah. I would say if you like the Silent Hill games and you want like a return to form. Like, this is like kind of telling Konami, like, why don't you just step aside and let me handle this now? You know, like, I kind of understood this better than you.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Very solid story.
Like strong atmospheric delivery, good story, stuff like that in general.
Yeah. Yeah, very good story, too. There's like jumpy scares, but nothing cheap. Nothing where you're like, oh, that's stupid, you got me, I guess. It's like, there's like stuff that's a little surprising, but you're like, oh, that's cool, you know?
Nothing that would make me like jump and then just start laughing at the game. No jogging Steves or whatever we said on that one time. You know, that old throwback.
No jogger Dave or Steve.
Whatever it was.
I think like maybe there is one thing in it that I'm like, my worst case scenario, it came after like right after a really good one, and I was streaming it, but I was by myself and I was trying not to reach out too much, but like there was a really good scare that I'm like, that was awesome, and then kind of like a stupid one, I was just like, all right, and that one not so much, but it wasn't like, oh fuck you, this is stupid type of deal, you know. I think you'll really enjoy it through and through.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Adding it to me notes.
Yeah, Detention, it's called. It's by Red Candle Games. They made like one other game, which it seems like a Flash game and seems kind of like artsy, you know? So I haven't tried it. I can't even remember what the name of it is. But like, this was so good, I kind of want to try that. It takes place in the 1960s during the White Terror, which, like, this is, like, you don't have to know this going in, but, and it doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, it's not really spoiling anything, but, like, this was, like, apparently a time period where Taiwan was very worried about being invaded by communist China, I think. So it was like super McCarthyism, where there was like a lot of censorship, and if you went against the government, you could be executed or put in jail for long periods of time and things like that. Yeah, so very like impressive regime, and then horror shit going on during that. It's like a really cool environment and atmosphere and everything.
Yeah.
10 out of 10. And now I'm going to tell you about another game I really like, 24 the game.
Fuck yeah.
Which I streamed recently. Yeah.
I saw some of that. That game looked fucking terrible. That game looked so bad, dude. Like, that game looked really incredibly awful. Holy shit. Did you finish it?
I did.
Jesus.
It was, yeah, I flew through the first half, so I figured this won't be so bad. And then they really pulled out all the bullshit. Like, here's an escort mission where you're escorting bad AI and it walks right into gunfire, and you're going to have to do that like a million times. There's a chase sequence. You're chasing a guy, and as you're chasing him, at what point you hit an invisible wall and he gets hit by a car and you lose the mission. I succeeded that mission. I really don't know how. Like, I couldn't tell you what was different about any of the runs, but one time I got to where the invisible wall was and they played a cutscene where I won it instead. And I'm like, well, fuck this game then. Don't play 24 the game. No, no, the other horror game though, that's just a little aside, but like, the other horror game I've been playing it too is Resident Evil 7. I don't know if you've seen any of that.
I've been avoiding a lot of it.
You want to play it yourself, or?
To a certain extent, but also just like first person horror. Like, when I first saw it, it looked like it was trying very much to do kind of the PT thing, which is not really my cup of tea. Like, I really don't enjoy games like that.
Ya.
So I was like, but I hear it's apparently a lot more actiony and goofy than it let on at first.
It does tonal shifts actually well, I think. Like, there's like a part where it's like, hey, this is pretty good horror, and then there's a part that's kind of, yeah, like you say, like goofy, but not, you know, like not too wacky, but like,
not
yeah,
RE4
enough where it's like
of goofy. Not like
no.
Like, yeah, okay. Well, I mean, that's
right.
not an insult. I do love RE4, but yeah, you have to.
Yeah, me too.
Place. Yeah,
exactly. No, exactly right. Yeah. You know what, and especially because we don't want to get too into that if you're avoiding it, but I want to talk a bit about the Re7 demo and Bob, aka Tortoise on Tour, and how I must torment him the rest of his life for this, because, so when the Re7 demo came out, Capcom did a bullshit thing where PT, like, they had these sort of obtuse, weird puzzles that you would solve, and the intention was everybody would maybe work together, solve it in a week, but some streamer accidentally did it in, like, a day, and the big reveal in it was like, oh my god, this is really the trailer for Silent Hill 5, and it's directed by Hideo Kojima, and that dream is dead, and blah, blah, blah. But when Resident Evil 7 came out, similar kind of deal, and I worked together with, I forget who the other person was, but with Bob from, Tours on Tour with it. Yeah. And he loves PT. And it was maddening because on the one hand, he was right in that Capcom did a bullshit thing and didn't include an ending to the demo or a way of winning it, and you had to download like a patch later.
Classic good puzzle design, a patch.
Yeah. It was garbage.
That's some Ed McMillan shit. Yeah, fuck that. Oh my god.
And there were like these little things that would happen where like somebody would be like, wait, there's all these weird lines on the wall, and someone else is like, yeah, but that's just a UV texture map that's like a light map that's on the wall that you're seeing. And like people would kind of dissect it, and it turned out, nah, you needed a patch. But like, there's like a thing, I don't know if you saw the Re7 demo at all, where there's like a VHS tape you play and you can go into the past and change, you can do stuff on the, So the idea would be like you unlock something on the VHS tape and now it's unlocked in the present, So while Bob and I were trying to figure this out before knowing like that you had to patch it or anything, Bob was like, here's the rules of it. Anything you can change anything in the past and that'll affect the present, but not vice versa. And I'm like, that's not a rule though. That's just something you made up. And he's like, well, that doesn't make any sense the other way. I'm like, but it's horror. And it's like a demo with an abstract puzzle. Like, we don't know anything, really.
Oh, God, and inverting rules like that, that's a classic horror staple. Like, establish some rule, make everyone very comfortable with it, and assuming that's how it always works, and then have it not work that way, like, once, and just have it be like... Especially when you're doing an abstract horror thing, that's like a classic thing. Yeah.
Right. Or it would be creepy, too, to be like, wait, why did that change on the tape? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Yeah. But he kept insisting on it, and it was killing me. And I'm like, dude, he's like, no, it's one of the rules. I'm like, but you wrote that rule. You didn't make the demo. Like, you're not basing that anything except that it's supposed to logically follow, which is hard. So it's killing me. So now I have to tell him PT is garbage. Is what happened. I was on his stream, and I'm like, honestly, if you think about it, none of the puzzles in PT were any good. Now, which, I mean, to be fair, they're not, but like, it kills him, and he knows I'm kidding, but it still knows it kills him, and it's great. So if everybody could keep that going and talk about how PT was just really awful, and Silent Hills probably wasn't going to be any good, I would really appreciate that.
Don't fucking tag me or at me on Twitter with that shit ever. No, thank you. Oh God, in the realm of other games that I won't say much about, but I will say, if you're looking for a game that will surprise the shit out of you and also confuse you, and also I'd recommend having somebody there to help you in case you get stuck, because you probably will. Have you heard of Glitter Mitten Grove at all?
I have heard of Glitter Mitten Grove. I didn't really understand the story of this, but apparently there was another game that came before Glitter Mitten Grove.
Yeah, it was by the same developer, and so the whole thing with Frog Fractions, right, is Frog Fractions was like this big hit, and it was a big thing that no one expected. That was kind of the big thing. It was just like some people found this Flash game online, and then it just like kind of spread of just like, holy shit, guys, you have to come fucking see this shit. And so like everybody eventually spreads around. The dev, whose name I'm blanking on, but super cool dude, started up a Kickstarter, and the Kickstarter just said in it, like, you are funding my next project. It won't be called Frog Fractions 2. It'll probably be called something ridiculous like Ponyland Adventures or like Gold Rush Express or something. And it turns out it actually was named Glitter Mitten Grove. And it is really neat and really strange. The only thing is, like, I wouldn't look down on anybody for looking up how to skip the intro portion, because there is an intro portion that's like kind of long, but basically it's like you're raising fairies and taking care of fairies, and I do recommend doing it like the right way instead of just like typing in a code to skip it or something, because it does build into the rest of the game. But basically what it is you have to find a door, and when you find the door, oops, there's the real game, and it is pretty insane. And I don't want to say too much about the different games in it, because part of the fun is just finding all this weird shit that's in there, and it's amazing. It's really good. I was screaming at my microphone at one point, not because I didn't have to, because I had to. Like, it was like really, really neat. So yeah, Glitter Mitten Grove is definitely worth checking out. Now, for a topic we both are probably down to talk about, so Windjammers, right?
Yes. We were playing that a bunch of... Well, we were playing it at MagFest, but apparently you and Maddie and a bunch of people have been playing it on Fightcade.
Yeah, we played it a bunch on Fightcade, with, like our controllers and our normal setups and stuff. But then Maddie and I spent like a day trying to find Windjammers at MagFest, and it turned out none of the machines that were supposed to have it were set up. We were really sad about that, because like there was a solid hour of Maddie and myself running around just going, where's fucking Windjammers, for like an hour at random people. And eventually like we ran into other people who were like, I don't know, man, I've been looking at Windjammers for Windjammers for like fucking an hour. We're like, fucking same, where's Windjammers? Just like yelling. But eventually we did find fucking Windjammers, and there was a broken machine, and then later on we found them on the good machines. And so Windjammers, it rules, right?
Yes, pretty great. And they're remaking it, I think, right? Or re-releasing it, I should say, on like PlayStation or something.
Yeah, it's getting a port to the PS4. The only downside is the studio that is doing it is .emu, who is a French studio, I believe, with an awful history. Like a history of doing really, really terrible work. So, fingers crossed this isn't one of those times, and they keep it together and make a good product. It doesn't seem likely, but it would be cool. If not, you might be able to play it on Fightcade. Don't quote me or sue me, but it might exist on Fightcade. Who knows? I'm not your dad.
For those for those at home too, Windjammers is a Neo Geo game, and it's kind of like, I don't know, I guess Extreme Pong in a way. It's kind of short selling it. It's like, it's overhead view. It's one-on-one like frisbee throwing, and the idea is like you can bounce the frisbee off walls, and there's different like courts with different things on them, and everybody's got like special moves, and it gets kind of intense because you can throw it fast or sort of lob it up, and there's like mind games and shit like that going on, and it's just really intense and fun.
Yeah, it's also has about the most 80s motherfucking aesthetic in video games, which is real fun in this case.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to overstate the impact of like the sound design and the visual design on everything. Like, every time you throw a disc and it hits a wall, it sounds like it's going to take the wall down. It's so good, and it's just like,
it really is.
It's super fast-paced. Everyone can pick it up pretty quickly, is the other nice thing. Like, it's pretty self-explanatory, but then you can do, like, fighting game inputs for, like, curve shots and stuff. It's hard to explain. Yep. You should really just go watch a video of Windjammers at some point, and then probably play Windjammers, because it rules. It's a seriously fucking good game. Oh, man.
Yeah, it's pretty great, honestly. Yeah, I kind of want to play it now. Shit. It's too late though.
After the podcast, maybe we'll see. We'll sneak it in.
We'll see if we can sneak one in. I do say I'm really happy about this because we ran into Proton John one night, and I was playing Windjammers, and I beat him like 3 games in a row, and then much later, his girlfriend Luca Jin tweeted at him like, you know, they were at dinner. She was like, "You're the best guy ever," and I replied, "Not at Windjammers." And the official Windjammers account favorited and retweeted that, which I was pretty goddamn happy about, I just want to say.
God.
Anyway, I just wanted to throw that in.
That was really good. That was a good night at MagFest, because I came down and
I
was pretty drunk when I came back at that point, and I had some good matches of Windjammers. It was it was a good fucking time. Oh man. Yeah.
That was. And then they also had Silent Scope Bone Eater, which will forever be.
I finally got to play Bone Eater on the last day.
Did you like it? Or it's all right.
The first level of Bone Eater was okay, but you can tell they really they gave a really solid first level, and then immediately took it into "we would like your money now" territory on level 2. Like it was a real, because like the first level's like, okay, we're moving you around, but like you're sitting down fairly stable taking shots, and the second one's like, fucking snipe someone off the back of a car. It's like, okay guys, and there's a million guys shooting at you. It's like, okay, this is maybe a bit much of a ramp, folks.
Well, I'm glad they sort of embraced the whole like anime thing for it, because the previous Silent Scopes were kind of serious, you know, and kind of not. Like they do a thing in all the games, and including this one, where if you like point your got like a scope at a sexy girl, like you get like life back, you know, because you're like kind of voyeur, like peeping at her, except you're looking at her through a fucking sniper's rifle, so that's creepy as shit, Konami, like if you really think about it. So at least this being wild anime kind of stuff was just like, fuck it, have fun, we're doing whatever. So you're like zipping around shooting people, and you have like sexy anime girl Spotter, and then she apparently is a bone eater, according to the main character, which is, I know they mean for, you know, some awesome code name, but it makes me laugh because I'm like 12.
I'll always be comfortable with a bone eater like you here.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever the fucking line was. Yeah.
It was like, I guess it's not so bad taking orders from a bone eater. I memorized that shit.
Nice.
Well, you know, it's broken English too, because Giop was saying he went to play it, and they ask you, do you want to play with wind effects? And he's figuring like that'll like veer the bullet off course. So he's like, no, whatever. But if you say yes, what it actually does, it turns on these like kind of strong fans while you're playing it. So if you're on a rooftop, the game just starts blowing air at you.
Holy shit.
It's like,
what?
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I had known that. I would have turned that shit on immediately.
I know, because they say, do you want wind effects? You're like, no, what am I, an expert? Fuck you. I'm not a bone eater just yet. Bone eater, like, you know, like.
One day, I aspire. Maybe when I'm training under a bone eater like you.
That's awesome. Speaking of which, by the way, there's Metal Gear 5 porn.
Oh,
how crazy is that?
You mean like on like Brazzers? Or
yes.
some site? Fuck, man. I mean, there was Overwatch porn like within a week. I can't even remember what
there was.
Yeah. Oh God, what was the name of it? Fuck, now I'm forgetting. It had a pretty good name.
I gotta look this up. Hold on
I know you
here.
do.
Private browsing. Overwatch porn. Overwatch videos. There's a lot of stuff here.
Well, I mean, yeah, of course. Let me see if I can.
Boy.
This is Oversnatch. There, got it.
Oh, okay. That's what I was looking for. I found something completely different.
I'm aware. But it is.
Okay.
It is. The Brazzers one was Oversnatch. But yeah, no, like it's crazy how fast the turnaround is now, and I'm glad the demographic of gamers has gotten large enough that we are graced with these productions. I don't know what I'm trying to get across here other than God.
There's like a safe for work, I guess I'll use air quotes. Well, I mean, it is technically like a trailer for the Metal Gear 5, The Phantom Peen. I'm sorry, Metal Rear Solid, The Phantom Peen.
There we go. Okay, got it. Yeah.
Yeah, and
now
he's
cooking.
up against yeah, no, but he's part of Diamond Dongs, and there's like a codec call, and it's like, wow, they actually they at least played this. It's not, not that phoned in.
I was all right at Metal Rear Solid, but you have me at Diamond Dongs. I'm in now.
That's good, right?
Shit out. Yeah, that's good. That's real good. Yeah.
Yeah, Sterling reviewed it, and then I was kind of watching it on a different browser tab, at work. I was just kind of listening to it, and at one point, he's Trouser because it's Trouser Snake, and I'm like, all right, not bad, So it's yeah, there you have it. Good for you, Brazzers.
Good for you.
Good for you. What else do we want to talk about?
I have a list a mile long. One that I'll throw out quickly, that you probably won't care particularly about, but some of your fucking nerds who play cards in your fan base, dorks like me, probably would. Eternal. If you haven't played Eternal, the card game Eternal, you should. It's better than your favorite card game, probably. It is a free-to-play card game that the way I kind of elevator pitch it to people is it has the interface and UI polish that Hearthstone does, but it's actually a really good game like Magic the Gathering. It's like those two things combined, and it's really goddamn slick. If you're a Magic the Gathering fan, it's got Luis Scott Varga and Brian Kibler, who are two super important figures in the industry. Both work on it. The draft is actually a full proper draft. It is fantastic. If you plan on getting into a card game, that's the best one. I know Amaz picked it up recently. I don't know. Do you know anything about Hearthstone card streaming, folks?
No.
Okay, cool. These words won't mean anything to you. Amaz picked it up recently, which is good. He's one of the number one players of Hearthstone and stuff, but he's been getting really into it. He even started streaming it twice a week, so...
Wow.
Yeah, he's been taking it seriously, getting number one in draft and stuff. It's fucking good. It's such a good game. Holy shit.
Should I even bother with Hearthstone? I've never played, or should I just skip right to Eternal?
No, just go right to Eternal. It's much better. Some of the big things is the big difference is Hearthstone, you get to on your turn, you play your shit, and you also pick when you attack. You choose what you attack with. You're I want this to hit your face. Whereas Eternally, you just say this, and this are attacking, and then the person on defense says, okay, this is going to block that, this is going to block that, and I will take that one and let it hit me in the face. So it keeps it from being a super aggro-based thing. So super aggressive decks don't completely overrun the game, which is a problem Hearthstone has, is decks focusing on a bunch of really cheap things that can do damage real fast just have a huge advantage. The other thing is in Eternal, Hearthstone was designed, and it's pretty clever, I'll give it to them, in a way that when you are playing your turn, your opponent is doing nothing. Like, it is, you do your turn, your opponent does their turn. You do your turn, your opponent does your turn. And it's very non-interactive because of that. And I see why they did it. You know, it keeps turns fast and brisk and stuff. Eternal, you have certain, like, spells and cards and stuff you can do that fuck with your opponent on their turn. And the way they made it really work is just, like, the interface work for it is really good. And it gives you very exact windows and tells you when you can do it, when you can't. And it ends up being about as fast as Hearthstone once people figure their shit out. But just a much better game. In general, I've had way better matches. Like, Hearthstone is a problem where maybe like 5 or 6 decks will be like, if you play the ranked mode, you will see the same 5 or 6 decks 100 times. Eternal, you see decks fucking all over creation and new ones come into the game all the time. Like, there is a card in a deck now that everyone like looked at and was like, holy shit, I want this to work, but could never make it happen. It's okay. So here's what it is. It's a fucking gun and it's very expensive to play. Like, it takes, you can't even play it until like turn 9 or 10. But if you play it and then pay another ridiculous amount of like power for it, it becomes, if you hit your opponent with this gun successfully, you win the game. Basically, it's just a card that essentially has a condition that's like, if you can pull this shenanigan off, you win, no questions asked. And like, everyone was like, man, this card is hilarious, but it sucks. No one will ever make it work. And then sure enough, decks have become like, there were some control decks that take so long, like, and make the game kind of like, they focus on controlling the game out that like, no, yeah, you can actually make the gun work. Like, people have successfully made, and you now actually see that stupid gun that no one thought would ever work, ever, is now an important part of the meta, which is amazing. And that kind of shit happens all the time. So it's really fun. The game's super dynamic. If you want to get into cards, Eternal is definitely the best way to go. And like, the draft is an actual proper draft. You get handed 15 cards. And like, pick one out of that pack, then you get handed 14, pick one out of that, handed another one, and so you like pull a pool of 48 cards and then build your deck with that. The other really nice thing that everyone I know who plays Hearthstone always asks is like, yes, from the like arena equivalent and then from draft, you actually keep all the cards you pick, because Hearthstone doesn't do that. They let you pick your 30 cards and you keep 0 of them, but no, you actually keep the shit you take, which is super nice because it means drafting, you actually will build up enough stuff to play the ranked ladder. It's a good game. It's a good fucking game. That's really like all I can say about it. Is just, it's fucking good. If you want to play cards, try Eternal. It's really good. It went to open beta finally. Oh, excellent. Excellent game.
Huh. All right. All right, I'll do it. I'll give Eternal a shot. I've never really played a card game before, but I'll put it on the list after RE7 and Witcher 3 and
fuck, man, how far are you in Witcher 3? Because that's probably one of the best games ever made.
It was a great game. I'm still not that far in it. I did the first, the witch?
Yes.
I did her mission, which is like...
Which you're witch? Do you mean the sorceress? Or...
The one in the bath? And
okay,
she gets out.
The first sorceress. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, you meet the Wild Hunt, and they open portals, and she has to, like, close them while you fight their hounds, and then there's 2 bosses, like a golem and another guy.
That fight really sucks on the harder difficulties. Like, on normal, it's pretty good if you're, like, decent at the combat, but if you go on, like, hard or death march without, like, a proper build, like, death march, that fight fucking sucks. That's one of the worst parts of the game.
I did hard, and I had the beginning game weapons, so I was hurting for a lot of it. That fight wasn't terrible. Like, it seemed annoying, but, like, if you kind of just played it really safe, and, like, I was out of swallows and things like that, I was just playing it.
Like, Quinn is amazing and will save your ass repeatedly. If you just use Quinn intelligently, you'll get through, like, half the game easily with basic weapons. But yeah, no, I did the same thing first time I played it. I was like, oh shit, I haven't bought a new sword in like 10 hours. Oops. So, yeah.
But I like it a lot, it's great.
Oh, the good part is like, I know exactly where you are in the game and exactly what other things come up in the next like 5 to 10 hours. And I'm just like, kind of like, oh, I can't wait to talk to you about that. But I can't now. You're coming up on one of the best like stories in game. Oh man, they won a bunch of awards. This one specific writer for a quest you haven't done yet, she won awards and deserved them for a quest about a baron, and that's all I'll say. A baron's involved.
I think I'm close to there. Yeah,
You are.
Yeah, it's interesting because I typically don't care a lot about game stories nowadays. Like, it has to be really good to get my attention, but like, even the side quests in this are all pretty interesting in their own way, and like, I don't want to spend like 90, 100 hours on it, but I also kind of want to explore it a little more, so I'm like kind of doing, a little bit of this, a little bit of that type of deal, I guess.
Yeah, people exaggerate too on the length, because like I played the whole game, both DLCs, and I did like a ton of side quests and stuff, and I think it was like 60 hours, 70 hours with both DLCs, which by the way, the DLCs are like incredible. If you beat the game and you're like, that's pretty good, but I don't know if I want to do the DLC. Hearts of Stone is probably the greatest piece of game writing I've ever experienced. Like, Hearts of Stone is fucking beyond words how good it is. Like, I really liked Witcher 3 and I was like, I don't know, and then the Hearts of Stone like literally blew me away. It has probably my favorite character in all of the medium. Like, there's one character that is so well written, it is unbelievable. It's like, I streamed a little bit of Hearts of Stone, and I'll just tell you, within like the first 25 minutes of it, literally my entire chat was just filled with, yo, what's that guy's fucking deal? Who's this motherfucker? Like, who is what? And like, that's all it was, because there's one character that's so interesting. It's it's good. It's good. You're gonna like that. And if someone for some reason is listening to this and is like, I don't want to play Witcher 3, it's too darn long, but I do own it or something, and I own the DLC, they actually give you the option, because they took a while between releasing those, and so they knew some people may have like played through Witcher 3, deleted their save file, and then still wanted to do the DLC. You can just load the DLC and it'll just give you a pre-made save that's like leveled appropriately for the DLCs and stuff, and it's worth checking out on its own. Like, it's that good.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Is it kind of game too where if you finish it, you can go back and finish stuff if you wanted? That, like, like some open world games, when you quote unquote finish it, it's like, okay, you're done, but the world's still open. Yeah. So if you want to go do the DLC,
they very much let you do that, and
I figured, but
yeah, and then on top of that, like, I mean, there are some like side quests that you'll be locked out of, but the game is really cool about it. Like, there's one part where you're sailing to an island, and it just literally comes up with a big thing that's like, yo, this is a pretty big point of no return. If you go past here, you're going to drop a bunch of side quests. So, like, if you do want to do these side missions, make sure you go do them first. Like, the game will very let you know.
Yeah.
Luckily, like, most of the side quests aren't terribly crucial. Like, there's a lot of them that have really cool writing, but, like, you don't have to stress too much. There's a lot of content in the game, man. It's a lot there.
Nice. Well, that's the hour, and it's pretty late. So maybe we can follow this up sometime with some more recommendation chat, because I learned a lot about video games this chat that we've had.
I love video games.
Not me. But I do like detention. That is pretty good. Well, all right. Thanks for coming on with me, and I'm very interested to see you kill yourself with Pepper in a couple days.
It should be fun for other people. Not me. I'm gonna hate it. Yeah. But yeah, thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure.
Definitely. And for my channel, I'm streaming Resident Evil 5 with the Dark Kid, and hope y'all enjoy that too. But anyway, take it easy, everyone.